Across the aisle segment tonight, the poster child for the Democratic Party, socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, just won't go away. She's now advocating for the left to occupy airports until all the migrant children are reunited with their parents. Never mind that many of these children can't be reunited with their parents because their parents are violent or criminals or not actually the parents. Never mind that it was President Obama who started this family separation. No, it's easier to just make stuff up if you are Ocasio-Cortez. So are Democrats ready to dump her, or is she the future of their party? With me now, Democratic strategist Laramie Flick. Laramie, good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
All right, Laramie, there seems to be somewhat of a divide in the Democratic Party over what the leadership thinks of this young Democratic socialist Ocasio-Cortez. We have the DNC chair, Tom Perez, saying that she is the future of the Democratic Party. We have Senator Joe Lieberman saying that not only is she not, but people should vote for Joe Crowley, the Democratic congressman who she defeated in the primary. So my question to you as a millennial, as a young Democrat, is she who you see as the future of the party?
It remains to be seen exactly everything that she believes, but I'm excited by the things that she's pushing. The Democratic Party would be to the far right in Europe, and she represents what would be kind of a middle-of-the-road party in Europe and the rest of the developed world. She's pushing a bunch of policies that will lead, hopefully, to a more moderate country that's more tolerant and works for the better of a larger number of people.
Which of her policies are you excited for?
I mean, we can look, at immigration. Somebody needs to stand up to this president and to a policy that tore apart something like 2,500 families. Yes, a handful, had to have parents who maybe they shouldn't be with, and that is an appropriate time that that children should be separated from their parents, just like we separate children who are Americans from criminals. But out of 2,500, it's roughly 50 that had any issues. That's about 2%.
Right, I think, let me give the actual numbers for our viewers, because I know they'll want to know. Of the tender age children, and this is what we were talking about in the introduction, tender age children are the ones 5 years old or younger. There were 103 tender age children who were separated from their parents after their parents were arrested for crossing the border illegally. I think 57 of them have been reunited with their parents. That leaves 46 of them who cannot be reunited because their parents are dangerous.
Well, I believe we have different numbers.
This is from the Department of Justice.
I believe we have different numbers. The 100 remaining are the ones that they can't reunite. 2,500 was the original number that was beyond what Obama was dealing with.
2,500 includes those who are 5 years old to 17 and 18 years old. I'm just talking about the ones who are under 5 years old. There were 103 of them who were under 5 years old.
Everything that I've read. Everything that I've read, you could see more than 100 children in some of those pictures covered by
right, but many of the children that you saw were over 5 years old. They were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 17 years old.
7, 8 is still inexcusable. That's still
no one is arguing that.
Inhumane,
no one is arguing that. We actually agree on that, Laramie.
No, a lot of people
neither
are
of us think that. Neither of us think that this law should be in place. We actually both think that the law should be changed. My point is that Democrats are calling, Ocasio-Cortez is calling for Democrats to occupy airports until all the children are reunited immediately. Yet, when we look at these numbers direct from the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and the Department of Health and Human Services, it shows that 46 children under the age of 5 can't be reunited because a dozen of the adults who brought them here went back to Mexico and declined to take their children with them. 7 of the adults were proved by DNA testing not to be the biological parents of the children, and 11 were found to be...
Well, that could be a surprise.
Okay, well...
That could be a surprise to that parent. That parent
hopefully that would be an anomaly, Laramie. Don't try to distract from the point. And 11 of them were serious criminals, either kidnappers or traffickers or child sex offenders. I think one of them was a murderer. So what do Democrats want to happen is my question. Ocasio-Cortez wants these people reunited immediately because she likes to use this to hack Trump, yet it would put these children in danger, it seems to me.
I mean, I'm not an official spokesman for her, but I guarantee you that she does not believe that children should be put back with criminal parents. In this particular case, I believe that she was speaking in reference to the next time Trump has to deal with the consequences of $1 trillion+ deficit, a stalled stock market, whatever else is going on. He'll create some massive distraction/controversy in relation to immigration and, whether it was just like the travel ban, just like, this incredibly inhumane policy of separating children from their parents that will be remembered like the Japanese internment camps.
When did this
policy
start?
There will be something like that in the near future. The policy technically started in the 90s under a Republican leader, a Republican Senate and Congress with a Democratic president. Like most laws, there's a bunch of different ways you can interpret it. You can interpret it in the harshest way possible, or you can interpret it in a more reasonable and humane way. And Trump is the first president to decide that basically a minor offense in the scheme of life should be treated
on par with that we've seen, the ones that both you and I, Laramie, agree are horrible, the ones that show the children in cages, in warehouses, next to porta potties, wrapped in those blankets that aren't really blankets. All of those photos, those are from 2014. Who was president in 2014?
There was one photo that was revealed to be a fraud,
it was not
but there
one
were
photo.
other ones. Obama, that is an attempt at spin by the Trump administration. Obama dealt with
I'm not part of the Trump administration. I'm simply someone who can look at the date, the timestamp on a photograph and see what year it was from, and know that blaming President Trump for something that happened under the previous president, that there's somewhat of a logical disparity there.
Obama was dealing with children that were old enough to travel on their own, were caught at the border, and had to be processed. That is entirely different from finding a family that's intact and separating children. I would say anything under the age of 12 that's too young to be left at home, that you'll get arrested in this country.
So it's okay to put children in cages
if you leave
if
at home and you
here on their
separate those
own?
from... Well, they separated themselves. What do you do with them at that point? That's totally different from ripping families apart.
That's not what I would do with them, but
Sorry?
If you want to.
I was talking too much to hear you. But
no, I said that put them in cages is what to do with them. If they're already separated, that's not what I would do with them.
We've destabilized Central America with our drug policy, and an insane number of minors arrived at the borders that we didn't have enough facilities to handle. Cage is another word for prison. But again, these were children that arrived on their own.
I think both cases were wrong. I don't think that's how we should be handling minors who are brought to this country or who come on their own. I just don't quite understand the moral disparity in you calling it an internment camp under Trump, and what else are you going to do when they come on their own with Obama? I just wanted clarification on that. I think the Democrats are using this as a way to slam Trump. They're not interested in an actual solution, or they would have come together with Republicans in Congress who are willing to change this law and fix it. They would have applauded President Trump. Now we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying that we need to occupy airports until these kids are back with their parents, even though half of the baby group, the tender age group, can't be reunited with their parents. And if we did do what Ocasio-Cortez was calling for, we'd put these little tiny children and babies in danger. It just seems to me that there's some working out that the Democrats need to do about their rhetoric compared to reality, what's actually happening. Laramie?
She is not advocating that.
She said it herself. I encourage you to Google it. Laramie, we're out of time. Thanks for being on the show.